How I was able to escape the rat race. Right now I am recording this video on Sunday, and even though I know that it will be Monday tomorrow, I am not sick of it anymore. A few years ago I had an average 9 to 5 job, and on the weekend I already hated Monday. I knew exactly that I need to do a bunch of reports, talk to people I don't like, and dress the way as my company expected from me. And do you know what is the worst? I had to do all of these things with an honest smile on my face because I had career ambitions. Sounds like a satisfying life, right? I think my story is not unique, and probably you are watching this video right now because you feel the same as I did. Even if we feel that society is about democracy and freedom, we have to admit that modern slavery still exists. Maybe it is not as cruel as back in the days because we are not slaves physically, but mentally we became obsessed with money. Most of the people are working hard to achieve their career goals, which tend to provide them the opportunity to earn higher salary. For sure, I was in the same situation as I wanted to do everything what I can to make sure that we will have a secure, financial, stable life with my girlfriend. I wanted to make sure that we will live in a nice, cozy home, and I didn't want to accept the fact that there could be anything what we can't afford. At my previous workplace, my boss was a true role model for me in the beginning, but later I have realized how much he paid for his success. He made enormous sacrifices for his own goals at the company. Honestly, I don't want to raise my kids as a typical father nowadays, only focusing on making as much money as they can and not seeing the family when they need. I don't want to live a life where everything is about chasing non-personal goals for a company I work for. And what will happen in the future? Probably I won't be involved in any kind of family events because I do overtime. And that was the point when I realized that I would like to break out from the rat race no matter how. Basically, I don't want to live my life as my company expects from me. Moreover, I don't want to spend my limited time chasing goals which are not fully dependent on my efforts. In the last few years, I did everything what I could to escape from my 9 to 5 job and from the rat race. And finally, and luckily, I was able to do it by this year. Not long ago, I started to live my life as an entrepreneur, and to be honest, I really enjoy it. So how I was able to escape from the rat race? Here is my personal story and 3 tips which helped me to finally make the decision. Step 1. Find a job which fits to your goal. Let me be clear by the beginning of this tip. We can't escape from the rat race with a typical 9 to 5 job. The sooner you realize this, the faster you can take actions. Even if your career opportunities looks very promising, you still get paid after the hours what you have worked physically. Think about it. We have 24 hours a day and you will get paid after 8, 9 or 10 hours every single day. But what happens in the rest of your time? I assume in the rest of your time you are spending with your family or you do something that you truly enjoy and not thinking about your work. However, if you do this in these periods, you won't earn anything. And this is exactly the periods where you need to pay attention and focus. Before you can leave your current workplace, you need to establish as many opportunities to make sure that you can earn money in these kind of periods. For this reason, you need to have 2 important resources, time and energy, which will help you to establish all kind of side hustles which will be needed to escape from the rat race. These kind of side hustles will give you the opportunity to make money even if you are not working physically. I think this is one of the best ways if you would like to escape from the rat race, when you can make as much investments as you can, which can earn you money throughout the day, no matter if it is workday, weekend, morning or the evening hours. For this reason, you need to find the job which can ensure you to have the mentioned 2 important resources, time and energy. Just think about it. Even if you already know that you would like to establish a side hustle which can earn money for you, but you always do overtimes, well, this will be the last thing on your mind by the end of the day. Furthermore, if you always get tired because your workplace requires all of your energy, then you will end up in the same situation that I have mentioned. So the task is the following. You need to focus on finding a job which pays for your expectations. However, you don't need to work too hard or too much for that kind of salary. Previously, I have worked as a supply planner at a multinational company, and luckily I was able to manage all of my daily tasks within 3 or 4 hours. The rest of my time I always utilized it to make sure that I am building my side hustle ideas. This kind of opportunity ensured for me that I had to manage all kind of side hustle ideas quite rarely in the evening hours where I wanted to be with my girlfriend. If you are not in the same situation like I was, then you still can focus on finding a job where you don't have to do too much overtime. It can be especially true if you are doing some kind of physical work and you would like to make sure that you won't use up all of your energy and time by the end of the day. To wrap up this step, always make sure that you are looking for a job which can help you to free up some kind of energy and time. And don't get me wrong at this point, I don't recommend you to leave your workplace right now if you are not fitting into this kind of category. However, it's always worth to walk with open eyes and look for better alternatives. Step 2. Start side hustles. Side hustles can be fundamentals for a better financial future if you would like to escape from the rat race, as I have mentioned. Before I was able to quit my full-time job, I had only one single vision in my head, and this is something which still motivates me nowadays, that I had to establish as many side hustles as I can. And what kind of side hustles you need to look for? Well, personally, I was always obsessed with internet-fueled opportunities because I think these are the best deal breakers. Before the internet, it was nearly impossible to anybody to start a side hustle when you had a typical 9-to-5 job, but luckily, internet changed the whole picture. Nowadays, it is easier than ever to establish a web store, write a blog, or upload and record videos to YouTube. The resources are available most of the time at home, and you can build complete empires with a computer. And even if you don't know how to start a specific side hustle, gladly there are countless step-by-step guides on YouTube, video tutorials how you can be successful at the mentioned ideas. Do you think I knew everything from the beginning when I started this? Absolutely not. First, I had a friend who built a web store for me like 7 years ago where I have sold only one simple product. I had zero money, but as I have mentioned, it is not resourceful to establish a web store, especially in 2021. After I have made a small amount of money, I have invested it to another web store. Later, this happened once again, and in the end, it worked as a chain. From the beginning, I have never spent any of the money that I have made through my side hustle ideas, but rather I invested it into further ideas. In the end, I was able to establish 2 web stores which were able to generate as much money as my full-time job did. Meanwhile, I have also started to write a blog and invested a certain amount of money into other projects. Right now you can ask how I was able to manage all of these kind of side hustle ideas besides my full-time job. Well, as I have mentioned by the previous step, I was lucky enough to finalize my daily task at my full-time job for 3 or 4 hours a day. Meanwhile, the rest of the time, I have always utilized it for my side hustle ideas. While the rest of my colleagues chit-chatted about something in the office kitchen, I started to upload a few products to my web store. While others started to organize unnecessary meetings because they were bored, I started to write an article to my blog. Nowadays, I still pay attention to make sure that I utilize my limited time as productive as I can, and this is exactly what I am suggesting to you. Don't let unnecessary tasks, meetings, reports and everything fill up your day, but rather try to create and find time gaps which can help you to take actions for your future. Anyway, if you are still hesitating that what kind of side hustle can be the best for you, then feel free to click on the screen and watch one of my previous videos where I have made a comprehensive guide about how to find the best possible side hustle for you. Step 3. Assess the breakout point. This last step will be the moment of truth. This is the time that you have waited for, but before you make the final decision to leave your current full-time job, you can't let your emotions overrule your rationality. You can't make such an important decision without the right preparation. Before I made my own decision, I tried to analyze as many things as I can to make sure that I'm preparing myself for everything. I considered questions like, do I have enough savings if something won't work out as I planned? Do I have enough income source to live the same quality of life what I had with my full-time job? Will I be able to find another workplace with the same conditions that I had if I need to go back to work? Gladly, more than half a year passed since I left my full-time job and became an entrepreneur, and luckily none of these questions came to reality. My web stores are working perfectly and generating enough income like my full-time job did, sometimes even more. And I have also noticed some kind of upside that I haven't considered before. Before I left my full-time job, I haven't imagined how much tasks can I do if I don't have a typical 9-to-5 job. Sadly, it is a bit hard to evaluate the potentials of the freed up time before you leave your full-time job, but this is something which can be considered as a huge advantage when you finalize your plan. Nowadays, I don't need to participate in unnecessary meetings or do unnecessary reports, so I have the chance to speed up my current process like uploading products to my web stores or writing an article to my blogs. All in all, before you make the final decision to finally escape from the rat race, make sure that you create a plan and take into consideration even the worst conditions. Make sure that you will have enough savings, be prepared that you need to go back if something doesn't work out, and lastly, don't increase your consumption and expenses even when you are earning more. In the end, if you feel that everything is on your side, then go to your boss and submit your termination. By the end of this video, let me summarize once again how I was able to escape from the rat race. First, I found a job where most of the tasks can be carried out within less than 8 hours. The rest of the time was invested into side hustles which can generate me money even when I am not working physically. Step 2. Work parallel with your full-time job and your side hustles. Don't increase your consumptions and expenses and try to invest back all of the money that you have made through your side hustles at first. Step 3. Be patient and consistent. If you worked hard, in the end you will have 3 or 4 income sources from your side hustles which can generate even more income than your current full-time job. And exactly this will be the point where you can evaluate if you would like to leave your current workplace and continue as an entrepreneur. Personally, this is how I was able to escape from the rat race, and I think I made the right decision. In the near future, we would like to have our first baby with my girlfriend, and I am feeling myself very lucky that I can be with them throughout the days. Honestly, I am very excited about this, and I am also enjoying the fact that I can utilize my time the best possible way. And you know what? If I was able to do this, then you can also do it with the strategy that I have shared with you. So let's waste no time anymore. Start to establish side hustles, and I wish you the best because I know that you will be able to make this out. And also don't forget to subscribe to my channel, watch my previous videos, and see you next week.